Jushkat Kwa Nayachat. My Tlingit names are Yadetlatzak. It's an ancient name. The meaning has been lost through thousands of years. My ceremonial name is Kahani. It means woman who stands in the place of a man. I remind my fellow board of directors on Sea Alaska Corporation Board of Directors that is my name. I serve as the vice chair of Sea Alaska Corporation. In Alaska, we have corporations because we chose a different kind of land claim settlement. We said that we wanted to have control of our land. We wanted to have control of our destiny. And someone mentioned corporations. We didn't know what corporations were, but we understood the concept of control and self-determination. And so that's the route that we took. So we are a corporation that received parts of our Aboriginal land base in Southeast Alaska. We are still trying to get the remaining parts of our land in our area. That's an issue that we have ongoing with Congress. But our corporation said, Sea Alaska said, because our elders came into that boardroom, and I will tell you, when our elders and our clan leaders come to that boardroom, those doors open because they are the real leaders of our people. They are the ceremonial and cultural leaders. And they came into that board and they said, our hands are growing weary of holding on to our culture. And we pass this responsibility on to you. They used the metaphor of that blanket to transfer that responsibility to Sea Alaska. They were not saying that they were abdicating their responsibilities to transmit culture, but they realized that we were learning, that our children were learning in different ways. They weren't sitting at the fire around the pit, hearing the stories of our ancestors. Rather, they were attending school where they weren't learning about our history, where they weren't learning about our culture. And so Sea Alaska, in its wisdom, created the Sea Alaska Heritage Institute. And so it is the responsibility of Sea Alaska Heritage Institute to support the perpetuation of our culture. We have always said that we will never preserve the language and culture and the arts of our people from Sea Alaska Plaza 1, but rather that it has to be within our villages, within our homes. But we also realize that it is others who have an impact on our culture. It is people like you who have a great impact on our culture. For you are the ones that could support laws that says English only is not the right way to preserve cultural diversity. And that's an issue that we are fighting in our country. So we look to people like you, and I know that you are a very special group. I know that you are people who support cultural diversity, because you would not be here to learn about the cultures of Alaska if you did not feel like you wanted to learn about cultural diversity. So to us, you are Anyat Kosani. You are noble people, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate you being here. And we appreciate the kind of support that we know that you are going to give to Native Americans wherever they may be, or Indigenous people wherever they may be struggling to preserve their culture and their languages. We want to thank SWAYA. We want to thank Bruce Bernstein and all of his staff who have been so wonderful in inviting us down here. It was such an honor to think that we would be able to join with our brothers and sisters in the Southwest and with other tribes across the country to come to a great place, to come to Santa Fe, where Indian arts and Indian culture is honored and recognized. So we wanted to bring a little bit of our culture with us. And we have over there in the booth across us, we brought several of our artists. And we found out that we're going to have to teach you about Northwest Coast art. But everybody seems to look at our art and see whales. I don't know what it is, they see whales. So we've had to teach them about our art forms. And that is our mission. We are going to educate people about our art, because I think once you gain an appreciation of art, is that it's spiritual based. We wear the crests of our ancestors. I said that my name was Yadek Tluzak and Kahani. I said that I am an eagle, and so I wear an eagle bracelet. I said that I am a thunderbird, and so I wear a thunderbird. I said that I am a child of the Sockeye clan, and so I wear the crest of my father's clan. And I said I'm from the house lowered from the sun, Kaudli Yayi Hit, and so I wear that on my t-shirt, and I wear that to show on my necklace that I am from the house lowered from the sun. We believe that everything has a spirit. All animals have spirits, and they were actually our ancestors. So we have this spiritual relationship to the ancestors and to the wildlife. And we know that we have to respect the wildlife. So these are the kinds of things that we want to teach you about. We have lived in our homeland for 10,000 years. We have lived with our environment. We have lived on the seas. We have consumed the foods from our land. We have used their products to keep us warm. And for 10,000 years we have survived. And we know that as humanity right now is having a hard time with the changes that are going on in our environment. So we want to teach you the kinds of values that we think are important. I know that many of you already have those. But if we can give you just a different worldview into seeing how we see the world and how we practice and live our culture. And so tonight, we would like to bring to you the Yakutat dancers. We have 50 dance groups at home. And every other year we get together, 50 dance groups. And for 5 days we celebrate the survival of our culture. And we had a decision to make about which dance group we were going to bring down. And I will tell you, we have many good dance groups. But we all decided that it was the Yakutat who are taught by a warrior, who teaches them about the discipline, Hahlatsini, strength of body, mind, and spirit. We knew that it was his group who could come down here, who could travel the thousands of miles. And we were also kind of nervous about it being too warm down here. So we knew that these young people would be conditioned to be strong, to withstand different kind of weathers. But I think that our spirits took pity on us and brought the rain with us. And so now I want you to meet someone who is a traditional scholar, a traditional leader, George Ramos, the head of the Fluknachadi, leader of the Koho people, leader of the Sockeye people. It is he and others like him, elders, who have continued to teach the strength of our culture, and he is going to share with you some of our culture from Southeast Alaska. George Ramos.
I'd like to thank you. I think it's going to start on a different foot this time. Yep, I think I will. And you got to bear with me. One of the things that we feel is terrible is that somebody from an office way down there or someplace over there, I forgot my GPS, I believe, they'll write out a regulation, a ruling, read, and then come walking into our territory and say, all right, this is what you're going to do this summer, or this is what you're going to do this year, without no input from us. We're very hostile about that. In fact, one of the men, he went to the fishing game hearing. And when he got up there, he told him, I'd like to have you listen to me for a little while. So they said, okay. Why is it that everything that you people regulate starts disappearing? Our fish, our animals, and it keeps going like this. They just start disappearing. Can't you help us for a change? Can't you work with us for a change? Everything you put a regulation on starts disappearing. Can't you people just for once start regulating mosquitoes? No, it is a subject that is very, very difficult to work with. When you start having somebody who makes regulation, he doesn't even know what the land looks like. He doesn't know what hardship or hardship that we live by. But it's slowly changing. But it's going to take a lot of more pounding in that office down there to change it to include us. We have an area, Yakutat was famous for generations on generations of people. And the reason it was famous is because we had mountain goats in that area. And mountain goat is what they weave their chilted blanket with. And so, this time, when the season for hunting, they say, due to loss of mountain goats, we cannot have a mountain goat season, and this has gone on for about 6 years, and so I've pounded on their desk. It doesn't help too much, but they are like seagulls. And anybody knows seagulls, he'll stand there and say, yang, 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 yang. So, but I'm slowly winning the battle. All I want is two. One for our young people to look at, study, and work on. And one for our elders to one more time, to cook a bowl or a pot of mountain goat meat. Right. So, we are from Yakutat. For those of you who have never joined us yet, we have come. And it's very easy to locate Yakutat on any map. You just look at Alaska here, Canada here, and the border that starts in the Arctic, runs all the way straight down and hits the coast. There's a little dent in there that says Yakutat, right on. So, I do believe we are on our last hour, and we've got to go back up to that little dent. The other thing we brag about is we are the smallest community in the United States that is serviced by the great jet planes, the smallest. And we used to have a river that's only 10 miles from my village, and we used to have trains just like in the old Western movie, and haul fish from that river to town. So we had the smallest, shortest railroad track in the United States also. Brag, huh? But I think I've been telling you the different things that we go through, and one is when you're invited, like I said, to a potluck, you go out and they put you quite a ways out of the community. And at the time that they have their potluck, they tell you, have a guide down there and tell you to bring you into the place. But this time we're going to do the walking song when you're walking from your quarters to where they're going to have the potluck. We call it our walking song. It's a very slow beat. We've been jumping on the stage and it's getting loose all the time. So at this time, I'd like to find out. Your children. We know. Yep, they're ready. I remember when we were dancing clear back in 1960, the instructor used to come running back and we would be lined up and he would start the song. He says, "You're feeling movie." And he wants the song to enter you, the rhythm to enter you from this song. And so he says, you imagine that water flowing back and forth in a boat that is rocking. And that's the way he used to make us sing this song. But we go into the incoming song, which belongs to the northern people. The one way up by Cordova. And that's where the Asiach Kagwantan come from. They're close to what is known as the Chief Quidi, the people from Cordova. And it took me a long time to understand that, but that was the people that were just beyond the boundary, and they were intermarried with the Clinton as they went along. Boop! I think I mentioned it to them. If you dance good enough, they just might bring you back next year. So, clap when you feel that that's the team that you want back. And they'll hear us. But no, all kidding aside, our corporation is a very good corporation, and we'll back it 100%. We were going to say 105, but some got left over someplace there. Our songs we have, and I found the slip was a little different than what was intended, so they wanted us to do some of the songs that we have done, but the song that we want to do is one that's brought down by the people from the Copper River area. And at this time I would like to ask the people who belong to the Clan Clan to please step forward. Thank you. Thank you. 1,000 years ago, their grandparents passed in from up there. And they came down. And the next people that are below them, they are the Koshkakan. And now you got stuck because you got two names. Okay? But I just wanted to mention that. There are two names on this clan that just stepped forward. And they are in the Yaksat area. But I don't know if there are any Tekriti. Yeah, okay, raise your hand. These are the Brown Bear clan that migrated from Ketchikan up to and I do believe the only Thunderbird here is peeking at me from down here. Born. And all of the people from the Luknakhadi, is here on the stage. The Silver Salmon clan, here I am. And this was the job that I wanted, to try to make these young people understand the social structure of the Tlingit is very difficult to understand. It takes quite a few years before it starts falling into place among it. But we started with the Sunadu, and I got to watch the time here pretty quick. But we have these songs that were passed on generation after generation. And the Sunadu is one of them. And we love this song because it brings a message to us from our grandfathers, grandmothers, our uncles on our mother's side. Sunadu. Group.
Yeah.
like I said, the word that is given to a young person is not great. And you are to watch the things around you and learn from them. And they bring the rifle. Have you got it?
Around the dish.
On the list. Ah, I knew that. Look at the wrong line. Sorry about that. It won't happen again until next time. But around the dish, this is there where we found out where the caste system in the Tlingit culture. The higher ups, royal blood, just like the king's format in this. And then the commoners and we used to call them the servants. They were here and we traveled a long way sometimes to obtain them. But around the dish is made for the house leaders and all of the people within his building. I figured that the buildings that we had built, the plank buildings that we had built, it holds about 50 people, and then they have to go and build another one. And so we would like to do this dance. It's known as around the dish, and it really sinks in when you do it at a potluck. So I do group. The first European came to our country in 1741. And then the Russians came and they built a fort in our country. And there was a lot of disagreement with them because they picked up one of the prime lands and started taking it for their own. And they forbid the Yankee boats, the sailboats that came to our country after that time to give us rifles. And when we did get the rifles, they wrote a song and they danced to it. So we would like to do that one this time when the first rifles were given to us and you had your own to make lead balls and drop it in the mud. And that's the way they did. I still got a set of those, how you make the rifle rounds for the rifle. So, without any more delay from me, nothing but goop. It is a requirement by our culture that when you use a really rifle to use in the dance, you have to put feathers in the barrel. That should signify to the people that it is a peace dance. And also, when you use 2 feathers in your headband, that means all is in peace with the clan. We know that if you take one of the feathers off, there is trouble in a clan or in our country. And so I hope we never have to take one off. We keep it on peace mind. They say that they used to tell the young people, very young, that you watch an animal, how it acts, how it eats, and that. But the people of the interior brought this song down, and we call it our ptarmigan song. But a hunter some way or another got into this, and we will do this as you will see the mother ptarmigan in the middle, and also the other ptarmigan. Go. Hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, take our last song for the whole 3 days that we've been here. It should be that as this song is worded, it's called the love song, and it says it's walking through the mountain. Well, if you come to our area, there's an 18,008-foot mountain on one side. We call Mount St. Elias, which is our name. And then there's mountains all about 11 miles back, all the way around, connected to the other mountain, which is known as Mount Fairweather. They were married at one time, so the story goes. But something happened, and they separated. And when you have to go into the interior, you have to go up the river, and finally, after reaching 177 miles in there, you come to the interior people. So this young man went on that journey, and when he came back, he realized he had fallen in love with a girl from up in that area, like all do eventually. But he said, I'm going to go back up there, and when the mountain gets in my way, I'm going to go right through it. And so we'd like to do this one for you, knowing that if there's any possible way, we would like to walk through all the mountains and come back next year or even the year after. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful group, and we hope to see you again.
Two.